revolutionary 3D Products Chemical Dilution Dispenser offers many benefits to your business operation. First, chemical savings. The dilution control eliminates the wasteful glug-glug method of measuring chemicals. Therefore, you will save on your chemical budget by the 3D dispenser properly measuring the products. Also, the glug-glug method produces very concentrated mixtures, resulting in sticky and overly sudsy cleaning results. Therefore, your employees will waste time by over-rinsing. Second, the 3D dispenser will keep your employees safe from the concentrated chemicals touching your skin and eyes. They will never touch concentrated product because all chemical mixing is done by the dispenser. We will cover the following subjects on the 3D product dispenser installation training. Dispenser packaging contents. Dispenser parts and terminology. Dispenser location requirements. Dispenser installation procedures. Chemical hookup. Tip choices for each product. Dispenser operation training. Recommended replacement parts. Your 3D dispenser box comes with the following items. Let's look inside. You will find a bag that contains several items. First, the dilution tip bags. You have the large tips for the mop bucket and the small tips for the spray bottle dilutions. Dilution tips are used to achieve the proper dilution for each product. The tip screws on to the chemical intake ports. Second, the spray bottle or filler hose. You place your spray bottles on the filler hose, which is located on the right proportioner's output port. Third, the ceramic weights that go on the chemical pickup tubing. These weights hold down chemical pickup tubing in the 3D concentrated chemical containers. Fourth, the anchors and screws to attach the dispenser to the wall. Next, you will find the mop bucket or soap hose. This hose will attach to the bottom of the outtake port on the proportioner found on the left side of the dispenser. Next, you will find 4 8-foot chemical pickup tubing that connects to the black selector on the right proportioner. The other end of the chemical pickup tubing will go into the 3D concentrated chemical containers. When dispensing is operating, the chemical will be pulled up into the dispenser to dilute, which is mix with water and dispense your 3D chemicals. For the mop bucket dispensing, you have the one large 3/8 chemical pickup tubing with foot valve. It will attach to the left proportioner port or barb, and the other end will go into the 3D concentrated soap product. Then you have the dispenser. We will go into the dispenser parts in a few moments. Finally, the instruction sheet comes with the contents of the dispenser box too. Let's discuss the dispenser parts and terminology. Starting with the dispenser cover, the upper left has the mop bucket activation button. By pushing up on the lever, you engage the mixing of the chemical for your mop buckets. It is also locking so you have hands-free dispensing. Simply disengage the lever and it will stop mixing. On the right side, you will find the water intake adapter. You simply attach the water source via garden hose. The dispenser needs water to mix the concentrated chemicals. Below right on the dispenser, you will find the selector knob and the chemical names. By turning the knob to the desired chemical, you can dilute the chemical for your cleaning needs. The bottom view of the dispenser shows the spray bottle and mop bucket output ports. You can see spray bottle activation lever. By simply pushing the spray bottle up on the lever, you activate the mixing of chemicals for filling your spray bottles. Simply release the spray bottle from the lever to disengage diluting on the dispenser. Finally, you will see the openings to attach the chemical pickup tubing into the dispenser. We will train on attaching all hosing in the installation training section. Dispenser location requirements. It is important to install your 3D dispenser in the proper location. First, you need to have a water source. As mentioned, the 3D dispenser needs water intake to mix the concentrated chemical for dilution in your spray bottles and mop buckets, etc. The most popular way to connect the dispenser is using a 6-foot garden hose. You need a faucet with a garden hose threads. Use cold water. Second, it is vital to have a drain just in case diluted product spills on the floor. A good idea is to install the dispenser over a sink so any spillage goes into the sink and the sink offers a water source at the same time. Or hopefully a floor drain is nearby. Also recommended water pressure is between 20 psi and 80 psi. If pressure exceeds 80 psi, it is recommended to use a 66.43 regulator. If pressure is too low, then the dispenser will not be able to draw chemical. A solution to increase water pressure is needed from a professional. Safety first. Before we get started, when you install, perform any repairs or maintenance on your 3D dispenser, always wear protective clothing, gloves, and eyewear because you are working with chemical products. Dispenser installation. Once you locate your nearby water faucet, you need to have wall space for the dispenser and chemical containers. You may use a shelf, rack, or place chemical containers on the floor. The dispenser should be mounted around 5 to 6 feet up on the wall, and it must be above the chemical containers. Otherwise, the dispenser will not be able to pull the chemicals to the dispenser. Take the cover off the dispenser to get to the mounting plate. First, remove the knob and then depress or push down on the metal tab on top of the dispenser to remove the cover. For level mounting, use a level on top of the dispenser to keep the dispenser level. Mark at least 2 holes on the wall with a pencil or magic marker. Remove the dispenser and drill small holes in the markings. Do not make holes too large. The anchors need to be fitted tightly in the wall so they do not fall out. Use a hammer or tool to jam the anchors in the wall. Next, place the screws in the anchors and leave room to place the mounting bracket over the screws. Tighten the screws and the dispenser is now secured on the wall. Next, screw on the dilution tips on the chemical barbs or ports on the selector and the chemical intake on the mop bucket hose proportioner. You will have 2 bags of dilution tips. The small tips are for the spray bottle dilution for the proportioner on the right. The large tips are for the mop bucket dilution for the proportioner on the left side. You will need to figure out the strength of your diluted product by using the right dilution tip. The chart will help you figure out which tip to use. Next, you need to know where to put the proper tip for each product. Look at the label cover that shows the product names. For example, Super Heavy Duty Degreaser will be on the top left or number 2 position on the selector. Super Glass Cleaner is on the bottom right or 4th position. The following video will show you how to screw on the tips to the barbs or ports on the selector. Connecting chemical pickup tubing and placing on selector barbs or ports. Use a permanent marker to mark 1, 2, 3, 4 on the end of each of the 4 chemical pickup tubings. Use the chart to see which number matches up for each chemical. Next, measure your chemical pickup tubing length from the chemical product to the dispenser and cut the length of the chemical supply tubing to remove excess tubing. Install supplied ceramic weight on the tubing. Finally, push the tubing on the selector barbs or ports on the right spray bottle proportioner. Refer to the label cover in the following chart to place the proper chemical pickup tubing to the right barb on the selector. For example, super heavy degreaser pickup tubing will go on position 2 or the upper left hand barb on the selector. Use the 3/8 chemical pickup tubing next. Measure the length, put on the ceramic weight, and place on the left bucket proportioner. Next, place spray bottle, hose, and mop bucket output hoses on the dispenser chemical output barb or ports on the proportioner. Finally, attach the garden hose to the water inlet of the unit from your cold water source. Use a pressure regulator to normalize the water pressure if needed. Make sure the screen is in place. The screen will keep out debris that is in the water from eventually clogging your dispensing parts. Dispenser operation. First, you will need to prime the chemical to the dispenser. You should have your chemical pickup tubing inserted in the proper chemical product. First, turn on the water. Put the dial knob on the selector so you can change chemicals to prime each product. I will show an example of priming the super glass cleaner on position 4 or the lower right position on the dispenser. Turn the knob to the bottom right position for the super glass cleaner. Next, engage the dispenser by using the spray bottle activation lever. Make sure you have a bucket or sink to release the product into. After you have primed all the chemicals, place the cover back on the dispenser. Take off the knob in order to place the cover on the dispenser. You will find 2 latches on the bottom of the cover. Place those in the slots on the bottom of the dispenser. Then close the cover on the dispenser, securing the top latch on top of the dispenser. Also make sure the appendage on the bottom of the selector aligns with the hole on the cover. Put the knob back on. Line up the slot on the knob with the selector. To operate the dispenser, first turn on the water. To fill spray bottles, turn selector knob to desired chemical. Slide a spray bottle up on the spray bottle output hose to activate the activation lever. When the bottle is filled, simply release the spray bottle from the lever. To operate mop bucket, push on the lever button on the top left cover. The lever can be locked in an on position by depressing the lever inward. To unlock the on position, either depress the lever or push up the bottle fill lever. When done, attach the hose to the bottom left side of the dispenser. When you have completed your filling of spray bottles and buckets, it is a good idea to turn the water source off so there is no water pressure on the dispenser. Recommended replacement parts. The following items are recommended parts that you will need in the future for service and repair. It is a good idea to have replacement parts on hand when a repair is needed. You can get the dispenser up and running in no time and not have to wait for replacement parts to be delivered.